Okay, I fear it's fall time. Yeah, it's autumn. Um, yes, time for fall decoration. Except I live in a small apartment and I have no storage for fall decorations. So I'm living vicariously through you guys. Because I don't want to buy fall decorations and have to store them and have no place to store them. So I have a couple fall decorations that I'll put out, but that's kind of it. But I am going to get in the mood for fall because it still feels like summer. School started recently, um, but I'm not ready for summer to end. I don't want it to end, and it's going to, whether I like it or not. So I am going to read some fall books. I was looking on Kindle Unlimited for some fall books and stumbled upon a series, which I am so excited to read. This is the Stay a Spell series. It's an interconnected standalone series with witches, vampires, and werewolves, and I think that's it. And I think they live in like a normal human world, but they have to pretend they're human, but they're actually witches, vampires, and werewolves, and they're like romance fall books about them falling in love with each other, and their fall. Okay, how many times can I say fall? Um, they're interconnected standalones, and so I could read these individually, but also I wanted to make a series for you so that you could see if these books are worth it or not. I fear I cannot talk today. I apologize about that. I have a lot of homework to get done, and so I'm just kind of rushing through this. Today I plan on listening to the first one in Audible, so that I can get some work done. I have just like actual work to do today. And then I am going to full on read the second one today. So hopefully I can get through two in one day. We're gonna see. I'm just gonna grind through them. They're all, I think, around or less than 400 pages. So short little romances. We're gonna see how I feel about them, and let's start reading them. I'm excited. Okay, it's like less than 3 hours later. I just finished the first book. To say I'm disappointed is an understatement. Um, I'm just gonna say the ratings as I go throughout this reading vlog, but this is gonna be a 2.25 stars for me. Or 2.25 stars. And let's talk through my rating system. So a 1 star is gonna be a book that I did not finish. I finished, but I wish I didn't finish. So that's gonna be a 1 star. And I know people will put DNFs as 0 stars because it's like, okay, you can't rate a book if you didn't read it. But this is my rating system. These are my rules. I don't feel like anything will get a 1 star unless I didn't finish it or I wish I didn't finish it. A 2 star is going to be something that I probably would not recommend to, well, it's something that if you were to tell me you were going to read it, I'd be like, oh, okay, like, have fun with that. And I'd warn you about it, but I wouldn't say like don't read that, you know what I mean? And then a 3 star is going to be just a very average plain Jane book. Like, this is gonna be a book that I would recommend to people if you were to ask me about it. If you were to ask me like, hey, should I read this book? I'd be like, yeah, like go read that book, it's good. But I wouldn't go out of my way to recommend it. I'm not still thinking about it a couple months later. I'm not obsessed with it. I probably will never reread this book, but I liked it. It was solid. Like 3 is right in the middle. A 4 stars is gonna be something that I loved. It's gonna be something that like caught my heart. It was obsessed. It just injected itself into my brain so perfectly. But this is going to be a book I can understand why some people wouldn't like, and this is going to be a book where there are some flaws, and this is going to be a book where sometimes there are no flaws, but I just wish that things were added to it and fixed a little bit. And then a 5-star read is going to be something that is perfect. I do give out 6-star ratings occasionally. Not very often. I think my only 6-star read this year has been Just for the Summer, and this is a book that I will go and nonstop talk about it with my friends, and I will make you read it. A 6-star read is going to be something that I'm thinking about 3 years down the line, and I will reread this 3 times over more, and I will want to reread it directly after, just so I can feel like that again. But a 5-star is going to be something that I will want to reread a couple weeks down the line or further. Not something that I am directly obsessed with. No, it's okay. I worded that wrong. Something I am directly obsessed with, but not something that like I have to reread again. But I'm going to be thinking about this book nonstop. And so Wolf Gone Wild is the first book of the Stay a Spell series, and I rated it 2.25 stars. It was not good. I would never recommend this book to anyone unless you were like, hey, how do you feel about this book? I'd say, it was okay. Have fun. Let me know what you think. But also it has, let me check the average rating. It has a 3.96 average rating, and okay, it's actually not telling me what percent of people rated it 5 stars, but there are 7,600 5-star ratings. And so, and let's see, 9,850 4-star ratings. A lot of people like this book. I'm not one of them, and that's okay. I will continue the series for the sake of this video, and sometimes I feel like the first book is terrible and then it gets better. What I will say about this book is I know nothing about the main characters. The FMC is, she loves Star Wars, and that's what makes her quirky and different, and she is secretly good at art. And then the MMC likes to do woodworking and over-sexualize women. That's it. This book involves a witch, and then I think it's a werewolf, and he has like an inner werewolf, and he has like a spell cast on him, so his inner werewolf takes over randomly, and he can't transition to a werewolf once a month like he's supposed to do every full moon. And so when his inner werewolf takes over just randomly, it's not like he gets super vicious, but he just gets horny. So I would say it felt like a Vampire Diaries wannabe book, which is, it's not the best. It's okay, but it's not the best. I don't need a sex scene every 50 pages. I'm the type of girl where it's like, okay, I can take like a 3-page sex scene once in a book, maybe 2 or 3 times, you know. I don't need the details. I don't need to know what you're doing. I don't. Like, it's so simple to have a closed door romance and just to be like, oh, and we went in the bedroom and had sex. Like, that's it. Okay, maybe word it a lot better. Not even a little, but a lot better. But I don't need to know the details that you are feeling, that, or that he is feeling. That's so disgusting to me. But I can't understand how other people would want to. I don't want to be like blacklisted and said like, oh, like she hates like sex, and she hates like open door romances, and she hates people who do. She'll never understand. I understand, and I used to be an open door romance lover, and that I just can't read them as much anymore, and that's okay. But I don't need a sex scene every 30 pages, you know? Especially if it's gonna be a 20-page sex scene. Like, that's not necessary for me. And so I am hoping that the books get better. I will let you know though, because I'm nervous. The ratings get better, so I'm like, okay, they should get better. But I'm gonna go read the second book right now and just binge it, because I do like this author's writing style. I just don't like the sex scenes. Like, they're ruining the book for me. So I'm gonna go binge the second book right now. Okay. I don't know what to say. I'm disappointed in the series, but it has gotten better. Once again, no, because the last book was about werewolf. This book was about a witch and a vampire. I'm interested to see if only women can be witches and men can be vampires and werewolves. I'm disappointed again. It's better. It's getting better. So I understand how the ratings have gone up, because the series is getting better. I am still disappointed. I rated this one at 3 stars. I'm sitting in between a 3 to 3.5. I think I might stick with the 3 stars. I would not tell you not to read this book. I would tell you to read this book. Especially, okay, if you are like a sex lover, read these books. Like, I get it if you're like a sex lover. Okay, not a sex lover. If you like smutty romance, I can't say sex lovers because everyone's a sex lover, but if you like smutty romance, read these books. I'm not the biggest smutty romance fan, and I wish I would have read into it going into this series, but it's still a 3 stars. This is about a witch and a vampire, and they kind of just stumble into each other, and they fall in love, and they live across the street from each other, actually. So it's like, it starts 10 years prior, and then like present day is 10 years later, obviously, and they have like a one-night stand 10 years prior, and then present day they are like, they end up being neighbors, and he receives her vibrator, and in the mail on accident. He opens it and he's like, oh, and then after that they just keep going. At first it opened up in a sex scene pretty much, and at first I was like, did not read this. But I feel like it did get better. I am anticipating the next book. I'm excited for it. I just don't think the series is quite for me, but I can't understand if you like it. I've said that a million times. I'm gonna stop saying that just so you get the point. I get it, okay? Yeah, that's all I have to say about this book. Okay, I finished the 4th book in the Stay a Spell series. This one was called Always Practice Safe Hex. Weird title. I gave this one a 4 stars. I feel like they're getting way better. I felt like this one was great. I love the characters. I love the development. I think like once you learn how to cut the spicy scenes out of it, like, you'll be okay. It's still a little bit too much for me. Even if I do cut it out, I'm like, okay, this is so weird. Like, we don't need to sexualize other people all the time. But I am really loving the characters, and I think that the author is writing, like, her writing's gotten better throughout the series. So I did rate this one 4 stars, just a straight 4 stars. I am interested to see what the next one is like. The synopsis for this one is, it's more of like a forced proximity romance, which I started reading book 5, and that one is too. So I'm so excited to read that one, because I feel like this one was really good too. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this book. I would recommend it. And I would recommend reading on Kindle Unlimited, because I would probably never want to buy this series in paperback. I don't feel like it's quite to that level where I'd be like, okay, I need this. But I thought it was good, like a solid book. 4 stars. I just finished book 5 in the Stay Spell series. This is Resting Witch Face. And so this book is about like 2 people who were together at one point and then they separated, and then they get back together, and it's kind of just sharing like their story about how they like what happened and then them getting back together, obviously. I think I'm gonna rate this one just a straight 4 stars. Yeah, the hard thing is I feel like the series should all be within like the 3-star radius. And that's probably, I guess that's what I would rate the series. It just feels weird giving it a 4 stars because I'm not a huge fan of the series, but I did really enjoy this book. So I think I'm gonna give it a 4 stars because this was like my favorite book from the series. Yeah, so I'm sticking with a 4 star. I'm going to read the last book right now and just grind through it. It's called Grim and Barrett. I think. I have no idea what it's about. So I will see you probably when I'm done with this book. They're pretty short, like less than 400-page reads. So I'm kind of just really pushing through. So I will see you in just a little bit when I'm done with this. Okay, I'm back. I just finished the 6th book, Grim and Barrett. I enjoyed it. I think probably to the same level I enjoyed book 5. This is the final book in the series, so maybe I'll just do a quick run through of all of the books after I review this one. This one was, well, no, because I think I reviewed all of them in this vlog, so I'm not going to do that, but I'm just going to continue. This book, it was about like 2 people, and obviously they fell in love in the end. Whoa. But he would not like ask her out for whatever reason, and then she kind of had to take the reins on the relationship, and so it's like that exploration of love, which I think is like an interesting twist, and I appreciate that because I feel like a lot of the time it's like, oh, like the men are doing all the work, which I like it that way, but it's fun to get a new perspective. Yeah, so I rated this one 4 stars. Maybe I'll just conclude the video here. That is all of the books I read. There's 6 books. I think for the overall series, I would say like maybe to yes to reading them. I would say if you're going, like if you want to read a full series and you read a lot of books, like if you read a lot, I would say yes. But if you're only reading 2 books a month, which is great because that literally used to be me, and like that was like a good amount, and then you get like the highlight books, you know, like that's perfect. But if you're reading like 2 books a month, I would say don't read these. So it just depends. I also would say don't buy them, especially if you have Kindle Unlimited. Just straight read them on Kindle Unlimited. I don't feel like I would ever want to buy them. Just because it's like a 2.5 to 4 star rating series. So I think for this series, I'm probably gonna rate it, I wish I could give it like a 3.35. It's in between like a 3.25 and a 3.5. I might rate it like a 3. No, I'm gonna give it a 3.25. I thought it was a great series, just too much of it that I didn't like, and I wasn't super invested into each individual character, but I don't know, it was weird, but I did enjoy it. I liked it, the series as a whole. I'm giving very contradicting messages and I'm really sorry. I would recommend you read it. It's the Stay a Spell series by Juliet Cross. Yeah, I would recommend you read it if you read 4 or more books a month, like a book a week. Yeah, so that's my honest review of the series. Thanks for coming along with me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you've read the series because I don't think it's super common. Yeah, It's good to see you.